becoming unstoppable makes me think of something else that we say behind the scenes, and that is promote failure.
Yes.
And I think promoting failure is really important because a failure has such a negative connotation. But what we've been doing is trying to get the kids to realize that the only way you get to that success is by accepting the failure, learning from the failure, and using that failure to get to where you need to be or where you want to be. And it's very much a part of becoming unstoppable. You don't just arrive at success without experiencing that failure and learning how to overcome the disappointment that comes with failure.
I loved it today. I was in a class and the teacher was talking, about Animal Farm, because that's the book they're doing right now. And he had a student read the first 5 sentences of the chapter, and then he stopped them. They had to keep repeating these sentences. And then finally he goes, well, what do you think that all actually looks like? And he turned it on the screen. It was grit, which is another one of our big words. And then he took them all, like grade 8s, going through what does it look like on Animal Farm for grit to be a real thing and to actually just keep going even when things aren't going well and when nothing looks like it fits. You keep going anyway. And I was just in awe of this great moment of teaching grade 8 students what becoming unstoppable actually looks like as you keep going.
Yeah, I think I've seen that through the sports too. And that, to come back to what you said, it's a mindset. And I think if you're willing to fail and you're willing to stick at it, just seeing the students go to so many different things, but change that mindset over time of now like approaching tournaments thinking they're going to win, thinking they're going to be competitive. I think there's a shift, and I think the students are starting to realize that in themselves. So,
and I think it's celebrating the success. Yeah. I think a lot of the times with students that I work with, when they have that aha moment or they have a breakthrough or something after they've struggled and wrestled with something, and they realize they can be successful, it's reminding them of that, and then praising them for it. Keep going, because sometimes if it's not acknowledged as well as we can, then the student doesn't feel that momentum going forward.
I think in my job, because I'm heavily involved in dealing with like behavior problems and social problems and disagreements between friends and things like that, I think a external aspect beyond the classroom is by not removing hurdles, keeping the hurdles there on purpose and just giving them the support they need to overcome these hurdles inside and outside the classroom. And even though I want to solve all their problems all the time, we don't do that. We would want to, but we don't do that because that's not really going to help anyone further down the line.
And that's what makes us a little more unique as well, because at a lot of other schools, it's, no, you failed. You're out or you're suspended or all of these things. Whereas for us, it's more of a, okay, deep breath. You know you shouldn't have done that. How do we move on from here now? How do you, we don't tell them to just stop. We tell them to become unstoppable, and that means you got to move through these problems that you create and these scenarios that you create and learn to become a better version of yourself.
I agree.
And then to go back to what you all were saying, to look at failure as not as a bad thing, but as like a learning tool, and like, what could we do to, progress from that or to learn from that? And it's okay to do that. I do that a lot in my classroom too, especially with the younger students. For them to see a teacher or an adult get something wrong is like mind-blowing for them. But it's a really good teaching tool for them, because they can see like, it's okay, Mrs. Blair makes mistakes. So, they can make mistakes too, and they can learn from that. So also to be risk takers. Not always following the rules is okay. But yeah, just to take the risk and look outside of the box. Looking at the problem in a different way. How can we solve it? Okay, well, we tried this way. Well, it didn't work, so let's try a different way type of thing.